Hello Stampers, my name is Linda Bedinger and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today I have a Christmas card project for you. I'm ramping up and doing more Christmas cards. This one is using the paper that is called Brightly Gleaming Specialty Designer Paper, and let's just get started and I'll show you. Okay, here is this gorgeous paper. It's all foiled on one side in copper, and there's a star pattern, this geometric pattern, this one with I think that must be pretty peacock on the back side of it, and here's one that has green and more navy blue and copper. This one, which has absolutely beautiful ornaments on it, all gold foiled, and this one, which is also a not gold foiled, copper foiled paper. And I am using this, and I've got a different technique. In fact, you saw a Christmas card that I did where I used the Subtles embossing folder on some copper. Let me show you what this card looks like. Here is the card that I'm doing, and I am using some of that Subtles embossing folder on some copper. So what you need to make this card is you need a very vanilla base. I did this one in Whisper White, and I've since decided it would be much prettier in very vanilla. So I have a very vanilla card base, which I'm just going to go ahead and burnish. There we go. And then what I did was I took a piece of copper that was 6 by 6, and this is a little overkill, but I was also going to make up several of them. And I used the beautiful Boughs die set. And so on here, I placed my large bough and my smaller leaf. Then I cut several strips that were 1/2 inch wide. So I wanted 3, one for the top, one for the bottom, and one for the inside. Then I cut using the punches that are part of the, yes, it's part of the Christmas Gleaming bundle. In that bundle, you can get the punches and a stamp set. Let's see, that's on page 31. So I can show you very quickly here. This comes with the stamp set, which also has the stamps of the ornaments here, and a big holly leaf, and a couple of sentiments. This is the stamp set. Deck the halls with boughs of holly, and there's the holly sprig, and a couple of patterns for your ornaments, and a Merry Christmas. And that plus the 2 punches is in a bundle, and that bundle is $49.50. You get to save 10% on that. You get the 2 punches and the stamp set. Then there's an embossing folder, this beautiful paper, and the Merry Christmas ribbon, which I've used on another project. Then also in here are these copper stars, and then these stickers that have the copper in them as well. So that's what I'm using. And so what I did was I cut out my couple of strips of paper, and I die cut my 2 pieces, my leaves, boughs. And so I've got mine already cut out, and here is my leaf or my bough pattern and my single one. You run the piece of copper through the Subtles embossing folder. Isn't that just stunning? I just love the way this looks. And I think all of the foils would be fabulous. And I just realized we have black foil. I can't even begin to imagine how beautiful that would be. In any case, what I've done is I cut out the 2 leaves, my strips, and I cut out an ornament in the smaller punch for the inside of the card. And once you do that, this is really very fast because it's just assembly. So the first thing I'm going to do, now this paper is notorious for being hard to stick down. So what I did was I was using glue dots. I did find that on the inside, if I used my dot runner, that did seem to work as well. So what I did was I wanted both of these leaves to be captured under this piece that I'm going to put at the top. What I'm going to do is just put some glue dots right here on the inside edge of this strip. And this strip is cut at 6 inches, so I've got more than I need, but that'll allow me to cut it off and get a perfect fit. This whole card is very glue dot heavy because of this material. I'm going to just set those glue dots. Glue dots are amazing. They will glue anything to anything, even when something else won't work. You can always count on a glue dot. And I'm going to glue dot these in place, and my guess is I'll be able to tuck those under in those empty places. So what I'm going to do is set this down so that it is right at the top edge of this card piece, right at the top fold, so there is none of the vanilla showing on either the side or the top. And then I get all the way over here to the end, and I can use my snips to cut this off and get a perfect fit. So there we go. The next thing I'm going to do, because these will layer over a piece that I put on the bottom, is I'm going to go ahead and layer this piece along the bottom while I'm at it, and I'm going to do exactly that same thing. I'm just going to layer some glue dots along the edge and put this into place. Now I'm going to set this right here along the bottom edge of this card, and I think what I'm going to do is just overlap it on both sides so that I get it down exactly where I want it. This one's a little off. Maybe that's the way to do it, upside down, so you can really see. In any case, I'm going to cut off those pieces here on the edge. And now I've got a perfect fit at the top and bottom of my card. Now this piece, again, I'm going to put some glue dots. Did I say this was glue dot heavy? Places that could move glue dotted. So I'm going to pick this up and I'm going to set this across my page just like that. Isn't that pretty? You know, this alone with just the boughs would be stunning. So let me add a couple more glue dots to the back of this one. One down here and maybe one towards the top. And there we go. Now this one, really I just want to fill up the page a little bit over on this side. And so I've just got to find a spot that doesn't have a glue dot on it to tuck this under the copper. And there we go. And I wanted that to kind of swing over on the side. There we go. So now I've got all of my leaves laid down. Now I'm going to take one more piece of this copper and do the same thing to the inside of the card. Set that into place right along the fold of this card so that it doesn't interfere with the opening and the closing of the card. So just below the score line here. There we go. And again, I can just trim off my ends. You know, as I look at this, that in itself with a message here would make a lovely card, wouldn't it? Yeah, I think it's just these dies are incredibly beautiful. Okay, so let me get that out of the way. Now, on the inside of the card, I used some of these ornaments from each of the papers, and the only duplicate I had was this one with the stars, and that's so I could use the little one on the outside of my card here, and then I could still use this pattern with the copper one on the inside of the card. So let's go ahead and put this down. We can just add some snail to this one and set that so that it's either just on the edge of the card or even leaning a little bit outside. And if that's the case, sometimes that look is very pretty. So I'm just going to trim that little piece off, and I'm going to add this copper one down here, and you guessed it, using glue dots. Overlap this one on here, and the inside of my card is complete. Now, on the outside, it's a matter of just placing these. I've already lost my little ornament. I put this one here, this one up towards the top. Let me burnish that again so it stays closed. There it is. This one right down here. And I put some of these up on dimensionals, and I put some of them on glue dots because they're coming in contact with the copper paper. So let me grab some dimensionals here, because I think I raised 3 of these, and this little one I put down flat on the card. And then, just to have another little one up here, I used glue dots. And put that one into place right up here. All right. Now, the next thing that I need to do is to put a sentiment. We have to do our stamping. And so what I've done is I used a piece of copper, just scrap, and I have my stamps mounted from Itty Bitty Christmas, Season's Greetings, and then for the inside, I love this one. It goes back and forth, lots of love at Christmas, and I can do that in the copper ink on the inside. So let's do that one first. So I'm going to open this up. I'm going to bring in my Delicata copper ink, and I'm going to ink up this little stamp. Okay, and right under here, lots of love at Christmas. And there we go, stamped in copper, and that will be nice and shiny and match the card. And then on this piece, what I'm going to do is use white embossing powder on this little piece of copper here, and hopefully I can get that on there straight. So I'm going to use my embossing buddy and bring out my Versamark. Get that nice and inked up, and I just again want to keep this fairly small. I'm going to try and center that on this piece. See how I do. Not too bad. So let me grab my white embossing powder. Okay. Here's my white, and I'm just going to slide this in here and tap it off, and there's my season's greetings. And I'm going to get my heat tool and get this heated up. I think I'm just going to trim off the end straight up. And there's my greeting. I'm going to put that up on a couple of mini dimensionals, and then because it's going to sit right up here, it needs a dimensional on it. Oh, I didn't cut that straight. What a surprise. Okay, so I'm going to put a couple of dimensionals on this side and a glue dot on this side, so that'll stay put. And there's my season's greetings raised up right there. Isn't that pretty? And that is my project for the day. Thank you again so much for stopping by my YouTube channel today. I do so appreciate it. And if you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd love to be your demonstrator. Or you could join my team, and the details are always listed below the video, and I'd be happy to talk to you about it anytime. So feel free to give me a call, no pressure. I love talking to people, so give me a holler. All right, there we go. So my prize draw for the month of September is your choice of a bundle out of the holiday catalog. All it takes is to put an order of any size on my website, lbedinger.stampinup.net, or through my blog, www.inkingenuity.com, and I will pull a winner at the end of the month, and somebody will get to have the bundle of their choice out of the holiday catalog. Thanks again for joining me, and I'll be back soon with more cards, more projects, and more tips. Bye!